Namaste and welcome everyone to the Naamdeo session for the science of consciousness and real essence of you in presence of Sant Naamdeo Maharaj. So we will be having a complete Vihangam Yoga session. We will be starting now. So we will be concluding the session with the 5 to 6 parts. So first we will be making the prayers to start the session. Then we will be having introduction about core concept of the Vihangam Yoga by Sri Dhritasthani ji. And we will be having arrival of Sant Sri Naamdeo ji Maharaj. And then we will be having a spiritual discourse and meditation by Sant Sri Naamdeo ji Maharaj. And if there will be any question and any curiosity about the Vihangam Yoga or Yoga specifically, so we will be having that session. So before starting the session, we will be just giving a brief introduction, like what is Vihangam Yoga and why we are here actually. Because we are here for first time, I think, in the Sindhi Mandir, and Sant Sri Naamdeo ji Maharaj also coming for first time in the Sindhi Mandir. But Vihangam Yoga, the knowledge is present in the Canada from last 8 years. So we are here, Vihangam Yoga Canada, from last 8 years, and we have done various sessions. Specifically, we conduct meditation session, Havan Yajna, and from past 3 years, we are conducting 501 Pundiya Vedic Mahayajna at Hindu Sabha Temple. So this year also we have concluded last Saturday. We have conducted 501 Pundiya Vedic Mahayajna in presence of Sant Sri Naamdeo ji Maharaj. So, and also we regularly conduct meditation sessions over the Zoom every day 6:30 in the morning, and also we do in-person session either in some temples or someone house. So just to introduce like what is Vihangam Yoga, maybe many people might have heard this name for the first time. What is Vihangam Yoga and what it teaches. So it has a very depth. What is the Vihangam Yoga? So Vihangam comes with the word vihag, that is the Sanskrit word of the bird, like pakshi, the bird which flies. So that's how the vihangam comes. So the bird has the nature. What bird does, it land on the surface and it can lift from the surface by itself and it can fly up to certain limit. It depends on each bird how much time it can fly without any base. So bird, it can land on the surface and it can also fly without any base. It can fly on its own. So the Vihangam Yoga also philosophy comes with the same. It comes with our soul. It can rest on our body, but at certain level of meditation, which is taught by Sadhguru Sarapam Devji Maharaj and mentioned in this book, Survey, soul can lift the body and it can fly it on its own, and that is the level of Vihangam Yoga. So it has the depth, it has the base also, like even if our soul is there in our body, so how the consciousness grow, whatever the state we have. So it has the very depth. So I have just given just a glimpse of what is the basic of Vihangam Yoga, and just to let everybody know that the presence of Vihangam Yoga. So almost like 50 million practitioners are there across the globe, and it has reached almost 50 plus countries across the globe. And Vihangam Yoga is also the consultative partner with UN ECOSOC from 2013, and Sant Naamdeo Ji Maharaj, who will be arriving soon, he is the chief program coordinator for that. And Vihangam Yoga does many activities for spreading the peace in the world. So through the meditation, through the conducting of the Vedic Havan Yajna, it spread the message of peace. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve bhavantu niramaya. In India, every year in December, there is 25,000 Kundya Vedic Mahayagna is being conducted at Varanasi. And here also in Canada, we conduct 501 Kundya Vedic Mahayagna. We have this great book that is the Survey. So Survey is written by Sadhguru Sarapam Devji Maharaj, who is the founder of Vihangam Yoga. So Sadhguru Sarapam Devji Maharaj, he founded Vihangam Yoga in 1924, almost more than 100 years. And he took the place, when he founded the Vihangam Yoga, he took the place with the Lakshayavati. Lakshayavati means he did the 100,000 mantra yagna and took the place that he will liberate 100,000 souls across the globe. And he has given a proclamation that Adbhut Marag Yog Vihangam मैं तुमको बतलाऊंगा यदि विधिवत तुम साधन करी हो अमर लोक पहुंचाऊंगा प्रकृति अगर तुम्हें छुड़वाऊं निज स्वरूप ठहराऊंगा. So he has taken the place that I will liberate the soul who will do this practice in a regular way and follow the path which he has taught. And that path he has mentioned in this survey, this holy book survey, and he has written in the cave of Himalaya. So Sadhguru Sarapam Devji Maharaj, he did the 17 long year of the deep meditation, and in the state of samadhi. In the state of samadhi, he has written this book based on whatever he has experienced. So he has realized the God, and whatever he has realized the God, and in that process, what are the steps were taken? He just divided into the steps, 5 steps of the meditation, and he had mentioned all this in this survey book. So what we will do that we will start the session with the prayers. In between also we will be just giving little bit more glimpse about survey. But what we will do is that to start the session, we will start with a prayer where we will be inviting the Nityanadi Sadgurudev. Even we will know what is the Nityanadi, why we are praying to the Guru. And then we will be praying the Mangal Gam. And then we will be doing few of the survey verse chanting. Swamiji, what he has mentioned is that सर्वे जो है उनके हृदय की चिंता बड़ी है। स्वामी जी ने जब सर्वे को लिखा तो उन्होंने बताया कि ये मेरे हृदय की चिंता बड़ी है, क्योंकि उन्होंने जो कुछ भी अनुभव किया उन्होंने समाधि अवस्था में, इट्स नॉट, दिस बुक इज नॉट रिटन ऑन द बेस ऑफ इंटेलेक्चुअल लेवल, लाइक reading the 10 books and then understanding those 10 books and concocting that and then giving some our reference based on our intellectual ability. He has not done that. He was just like educated for the third grade of education. Like he just studied till the third grade and then he went to the Himalaya for the meditation. And after the deep meditation and the state of samadhi, he has written 18 books. Even he has written the 4 Vedas meanings also in the Hindi. And he was just educated till the third grade. That is the state of yogi. Swami ji, what he has mentioned, like योग योग सब कोई कहे, योग न जाना कोई, अरंध धार उलट करे, योग कहा है सोए. So yoga has the depth. It doesn't need the formal education because soul has everything. That's what even in the Gita also Bhagavan Sri Krishna has mentioned that Nana Sastra Patina Loka Nana Lok Pujyatam Atma Jnana Vinukartha Sarva Nigarkata. It doesn't mean that we need to study lot of Shastra. Until we don't have the Atma Jnana, we don't know the self, rest are meaningless. Because all the readings and all, it makes our intellect better, but it doesn't give our own consciousness. It doesn't give the wisdom about the self. So that's what Sadgurudev has mentioned. So to start, we will start with the Swagat Gam, and we will be just praying to the eternal Sadguru. So Swamiji has mentioned that there is an eternal teacher who is always there, and Upanishad also has mentioned that Anti Santam na jahanti, Anti Santam na pasyati, devasya pasya kavyam na mamaji na jayati. So there is an eternal teacher who he always remains in the universe. He never takes the birth, he never dies, he always remains. So that is the eternal true teacher to whom we call as the Sadguru, and we will make the prayer to have the presence, his conscious presence in this session and guide us all through the session. So we will just pray the Swagatam. With this prayer, we have prayed to the eternal teacher. जैसा कि इस प्रेयर में ऐसा कहा गया है कि आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर वही जो अंति संतम न जहाती अंति संतम न पश्यति देव से पश्य काव्य न मवादिनी जीवति, जो आदि संत हैं वो आए और अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोम रस बरसाई है। जो अध्यात्म विद्या का जो दिव्य ज्योति है यानी द लाइट, क्योंकि ज्ञान क्या है, एक प्रकाश की तरह है और वो प्रकाश किसके पास है, वो आदि गुरु सदगुरु के पास है। जब तक उनका प्रकाश नहीं आएगा हमारी आत्मा के ऊपर, जब तक वो प्रकाश नहीं पड़ता है तब तक जो है हम एज इंटेलेक्चुअल हम बुद्धिमान हो सकते हैं, हम लोग एज इंटेलेक्चुअल पर्सन हो सकते हैं, लेकिन जब तक हमारी सोल पे उस सदगुरु की दिव्य ज्योति नहीं पड़ेगी तब तक हमारे अंदर जो है भीतर की आध्यात्मिक विद्या जो है उसका विकास नहीं होगा। तो इसीलिए सदगुरु की आवश्यकता बहुत जरूरी होते हैं, क्योंकि वही एक अध्यात्म के सूर्य हैं। Right? He is the sun of the, he is the sunlight for the spirituality. अभी हम लोग जो है मंगल गान गाएंगे जिसमें कि विश्व को, it is for the well-being in the world, in the peace on, and also the spreading the peace in the world. विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याये, वर्ग द्वंद्वय शांति दूर कर, भाव भेद मिटाये, सार्वभौम समष्टि सत्ता ध्यान राज्य बनाये, देश भाषा भाव जग में ज्ञान कर दर्शाये, समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाये, विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल नीतीश्वर अपनाये, विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याये। So with this Mangal Naam, we have prayed for the well-being in the world. What Swamiji has mentioned is that वर्ग द्वंद्व अशांति दूर कर, भाव भेद मिटाइए. Whatever the differences is there due to the caste, creed, region, religion, so we need to just remove all those differentiation, because the world is every like it is at the soul level. So whatever he has talked about this is that everyone's soul is from the same. So there should not be differences based on the caste, creed, color, region and religion. And those bhav bhed mitaiye. And we need to remove those differences. And sarvabhaum samashti satta adhyatma rajya banaiye. And that can happen when the adhyatma rajya, when the spiritual, when it can happen when the spiritual energy is spread across the globe. Because the spirituality is making our spirit upliftment. And when the spirit upliftment happens, it doesn't believe in the physical. Physical is just for doing the worldly activities and making our worldly desire to complete. But when it comes to the spirituality, it comes on the spirit, our soul. And upliftment of our soul is the spirituality. And समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए. And that's how, like, when the spirituality spread across the globe, across everywhere, then only there will be a peace and a happiness, and it will be like a swarg, like heaven. So heaven can only happen like when everybody has the purity, and purity can come through the spirituality, and spirituality can come through the jnana, and jnana can come only through the master of the spirituality, who can pour the light to our soul, and that is the Sadguru. So through the Sadguru light, the spirituality can come to our soul, and our soul can get enlightened, and that's how the spirituality comes. And that is the message of our Sadguru Dev, and that is the message of the Vihangam Yoga. So with that, we will be chanting few of the Sarvet Doha, which Sadguru Dev has written in the cave of Himalaya almost like 90 years back, and he has written in the state of Samadhi. He has not written just at an intellectual level or just understanding something. At the state of Samadhi, we will be describing, even Dilip Ratnani ji has one introductions where he will be mentioning what is Jad Samadhi and what is the Chetan Samadhi. So this Samadhi, in which Samadhi he has written this book was the Chetan Samadhi. In that state he has written this survey. And even based on the survey, we have the survey Mahamandir, which is there in our Stanley chart. So survey Mahamandir is built in Varanasi. It is almost in the span of 300,000 square feet, where 20,000 people can meditate at the same time. And it was inaugurated 3 years back when Vihangam Yoga completed the 100 years after founded by Sadhguru Sanatana Devi Maharaj. So anyone who can get the chance to visit Varanasi, they can visit there and they can make. And survey has 3,000, more than 3,000 couplets, and all those couplets were engraved in the Makarana marble. So the temple has the full of the Makarana marble stones, and in all those stones, this survey couplets, which I will be chanting few of the survey verses, all the more than 3,000 survey verses are engraved on those marbles, so that the existence can remain for 1,000 years, because the book can be altered after certain years, after maybe 100 years or after 200 years, books can be altered. That's what it has happened to all our like Vedic scriptures, Gita and all. We don't know what was the original. Now it is being altered. We don't know what is the originality. So that's why the Swamiji has engraved all this Doha in the marble, so that it can remain for 1,000 years. So I will be chanting few of the survey verses. Swamiji has given very, very great details about the soul. how the soul state got deteriorated when it was a mukh. So I will just read the bhasya. What is the meaning of this doha? आत्मा मुक्ति से क्रमशः सूक्ष्म से स्थूल स्वरूप में आई है। जिस प्रकार से सूक्ष्म रीति से स्थूल शरीर को प्राप्त हुई है, उसी प्रकार क्रमशः स्थूल से सूक्ष्म होकर गुरु विधान द्वारा सद्गुरु प्रदेश में गमन गति संबंध से परब्रह्म को प्राप्त करेगी। इसी को योग कहते हैं। आत्मा प्रथम प्रकृति के संबंध होने से मन को लेकर इंद्रिय जगत में आ जाती है। इसलिए ग्रंथकार ने मन का संबंध त्याग कर सूक्ष्म होकर क्रमशः आगे गमन करने का उपदेश साधकों को किया है। Actually, it has very depth meaning. Even Dilip Ratnani ji will be presenting few of the slides. It is very much related with this doha. And what Swamiji has mentioned is that the soul, because soul has it's an entity, and everyone has its own soul, and until the soul is there, we survive, like we are alive. And when the soul goes, then we are not alive. But there was a state of every soul when it was a mukh, and then it got deteriorated from it got deteriorated like 6 sarir it is there, which Dilip Ratnani he will be showing into that, like how it deteriorated from the mukti avastha, and then where it is the hans avastha, and then how it came to the sushma, and then it came to the asthul. So the soul got deteriorated from the where it was in the mukti avastha to the asthul. So the yoga is like the reverse of that. Since we have to become mukh, we have to get liberated. So how we got deteriorated? So the yoga is like it is the reverse of whatever, like we have translated down, we need to go up. That's why Swamiji has mentioned in the survey also, like योग सब कोई कहे योग न जाना कोई, अरध धार उरध करे योग से कहाय सोए. Means how we came down, we need to again go up in the same way. And the meditation is the whatever Swamiji has mentioned, like the meditation, it has the 5 stages, and those 5 stages only it will lift up from the asthul to the sushma, and sushma to the hans. That is the way. That's why Swamiji has mentioned like jheen aay jheena chalo, मन व त्याग संयोग क्रमशः सूक्ष्म हो रहो अगर गमन गति योग. Like the more we are more sushma, like currently we are more physical. Whatever we are thinking, whatever we see, that one only we perceive. And that also more at the intellectual level. We don't have that conscious level, because we can just understand with a few examples, right? Like, for example, we can just think about the Mahabharata time, where Arjun can see the Krishna, the full form, and even we can leave the Arjun and Krishna, the Sanjay, who were describing to the Dhritarashtra about all the conversation. He was not near there. He was somewhere distant, and he was able to listen, and he can see that. But whether a human being can have that capacity without any instrument, because at that time there was no instrument, like there was no mobile phone, like okay, there is a conversation happening, and he has network and he is able to listen. So that was the level of the consciousness, and that is the sushmata. So that is the word Swamiji, and that's sushmata, right? It is the level of consciousness where we are more physical, then we can go more granular and granular with the meditation, and those kind of consciousness and the sushmata we gain with the meditation, and that's what Swamiji has mentioned in the survey. Now I will chant few more survey verses. Indrika pancho shabdabhi kramashah do the meditation, how his meditation grow, and what are the things he experiences. So in one doha Swamiji, what he has mentioned that सदगुरु नियम आदेश के अनुसार विहंगम योग का अभ्यासी संत योग कला के द्वारा योग की अंतर भूमियों में प्रवेश करके क्रमशः ऊंची भूमि को प्राप्त करता हुआ आगे जाकर अपने लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करता है और विविध ज्ञानों का उपार्जन कर योग साधन के महान पुरुषार्थ द्वारा अपने महान लक्ष्य की प्राप्ति के लिए तत्पर रहता है। जिस प्रकार से साधक के अंदर अनुभव साधना बढ़ने लगता है, उसी प्रकार से सूक्ष्म शब्द प्राप्त होते जाते हैं। जैसे जैसे गति आगे बढ़ती जाती है, वैसे वैसे शब्दों की सूक्ष्मता प्राप्त होती जाती है और सबके भीतर निःशब्द परम पुरुष का साक्षात्कार अनुभव होता है। So what Swamiji has mentioned that the way our sadhana grows, because the sadhana Swamiji has divided in the 5 stages of Vihangam Yoga meditation. So today, when Sant Naamdeo Maharaj will be coming, he will be teaching the first stage of Vihangam Yoga meditation. Each stage of meditation has its own meaning and the experiences, and the purpose is like to bring from the asthul to the sushma and sushma to the mukti, where the soul can be liberated. And what Swamiji has mentioned is that when the sadhak is the stages of the meditation grow, the experiences also grows, and he also experiences from the asthul to sushma. Like he becomes more conscious. Sushma means he becomes more conscious. So consciousness means the awareness about whatever is happening. Currently we are, like even if you are sitting here, our thought may be going somewhere. We may not be fully aware about whatever is happening here, and it is not like about here, anywhere we are. We may not be the 100% conscious about the current state, whatever we are doing. Even we might be working, or even we might be driving, or even we might be walking. We may not be the 100% conscious about whatever we are doing. So the consciousness means, and the sushmata means we are more conscious about what we are doing, and that consciousness, that sushmata comes when our meditation grow, and when we grow from one stage to another stage, we become more aware and aware about ourselves, and that is what we say is that we are becoming more conscious, because we are getting aware about whatever it is happening, and we are getting aware about within the self, our body, our prana. We are getting aware about everything. Even we are getting aware about our thought. So we will move to the few more couplets. depth state of the meditation. So our Sansari has arrived. So I would be requesting somebody to take the seat. बोले सवदेव भगवान की जय. And we are very fortunate that Sant Naamdeo Maharaj is here, and Sant Naamdeo Maharaj is the international pracharak for Behangam Yoga. He came from India, Varanasi. He is here in Canada for last 10 days, and he has conducted the 501 Pundiya Vedic Mahayagna at Hindu Sabha Mandir. So he is coming from last 4 years, and from last 3 years he is conducting the Vedic Mahayagna 501 Pundiya Mahayagna. He is the founder of Abhyas School of Yoga, and also he is the chief program coordinator for Vihangam Yoga, and Vihangam Yoga is the consultative partner for UN EcoSoft. Sant Naamdeo Maharaj has visited more than 50 countries with the message of world peace and with the message of Vihangam Yoga, through which how the soul can find its own consciousness, how we can realize, and how the knowledge of Vihangam Yoga, which Sadhguru Siddhartha Dev Maharaj he had experienced, and he has mentioned in this survey, how in a very simple language, because it is very difficult to understand the survey. It has very depth. Even whatever I have chanted, it has a depth. But as a human being, where we are involved in all our daily routine work, we are living our life for our family. We are living our life for the society. We wanted to give something to the society so that society can also uplift. In all these cases, how to understand the spirituality which was mentioned by our rishis, maharshis in Veda, Upanishad and Gita. So with that message, Sant Naamdeo Maharaj is here among us to give in a very simple language to understand the depth of real essence of yoga, which is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and Veda. So before going forward, what we will be doing is that we will be running a small documentary about the Vihangam Yoga, which will be mentioning about what is Vihangam Yoga, how it is like all the stages of meditation, who is our current Sadguru, and how it was founded. So those details we will be, it will be there in documentary. So before that, I would be requesting to have the Malyarpan by Sant Naamdeo Maharaj to Sadhguru Chitra. So yeah, so Pushpanjali will be helping out for the Pushparpan to Sadhguru Charan. So first he will be putting the flowers on the feet of Sadhguru Siddhartha Dev Maharaj, and then he will be putting the flower on the lotus feet of Sadhguru Sadhguru Devi Maharaj, and then on the lotus feet of current Sadhguru Dev Satan Devji Maharaj. So we will be just running the documentary on the Vihangam Yoga, so that we can just get a better idea of Vihangam Yoga. What I would request that since we will be running the documentary and it will be showing on the TV, so maybe the people who is in that side, yeah, maybe you can sit for some time and then again you can go back to the chair. Hope everybody is able to see.
अनंत सत्ता की भजा has proved to be the best through his unbridled imagination and mental capability, and also through his scientific discoveries. At their most advanced levels, these discoveries are clearly validated by spiritual truths. It can be emphatically stated that India is the fountainhead from where these philosophical thoughts flow like the river Ganga, and it acts as the spiritual torchbearer for the whole world. People the world over are very keen to understand more about the enchanting philosophy of yoga. When you do yoga, your personality integrates and just living becomes a lot more natural. You stop second guessing yourself. You feel that you have the energy. You feel that who you are is sufficient to deal with all the problems and all the challenges you have in life. The science of a fulfilled life in harmony with a supreme divine power is called Vihangam Yoga, that has transformed the lives of millions of individuals and has become a part of their lives. Vihangam Yoga, with its mental and spiritual, deeply involved in social service for the betterment of all. When the tsunami struck parts of southern India and the earthquake devastated Gujarat, this organization was at the forefront in providing relief to people affected by these and other natural calamities. Further, Vihangam Yoga ashrams also conduct regular programs in the field of education and health services. The Sadguru Sadapal Dev International Spiritual University plays an important role in this chain of events. Here, students not only study traditional Indian philosophy, they also learn world philosophy and, in the process, understand the contribution of India in this field. It also enables students to have an idea about various cultures the world over. This organization also has a university located in the Balia district in Uttar Pradesh, which provides educational opportunities to teens and youths from remote and rural areas. Construction of the great temple, the Swaraveda Mahamandir close to Sarnath near Varanasi, is an important ongoing project. More than 10,000 true seekers at a time can meditate in the sanctum sanctorum of this great temple. Now we explore the unexplored via a journey into the endless secrets hidden inside all of us. The journey of this life, which goes beyond the five worlds, will not be possible without the help of Sadguru. In the first stage of this journey, one experiences a feeling of sharpened mental abilities accompanied by mental stability. In the second stage, after taking a dip in the holy tri-river within, the experience of attaining calmness and being at complete peace of mind gets overwhelmed upon hearing the soothing, reverberating sound of the holy Om. In the third stage, one experiences further refinements in mental, emotional, and physical well-being, unending strength and affection for humanity. Sadhguru says, Kumbhara Bandhana ego lage, ape aap kundalini jage. In the fourth stage, overcoming the heap of sins collected through previous births and gets separated from the inanimate soul to fly freely in the open sky. In the final stage, life commences and maintains creating fluttering waves across the bottomless and deep spiritual ocean. This is also known as the aquatic path.
So we have just a small documentary on the Vihangam Yoga, just to understand a little bit visually in 10 minutes. So not spending more time. So because we have session by Sant Naamdeo Maharaj, so I would be requesting Dilip Ratnani ji. He has one small presentation about Vihangam Yoga core philosophy. So Vihangam Yoga core philosophy, so he will be giving more insight, and then we will be having spiritual discourse by Sant Naamdeo Maharaj and also the meditation teaching. So I will just hand over to Dilip Ratnani ji.
very much, Vinod. Welcome, Sant Naamdeo ji in Sindhi Mandir of Toronto. It's our pleasure to see you here among the Sindhi folks. Sabka Pehli, namaste to everyone. First of all, thank you very much for joining us. We will discuss and learn 6 progressive states of soul, a journey from bondage to liberation. If you have any question, we'll answer the question at the end of the presentation. Just keep the question with you, and I'll try to explain myself. Before I start my presentation, I would like to request your undivided attention so I can explain all the slides without interruption. All the scriptures are meant to be learned from a competitive group. I'm only a student and still learning. I'm not a qualified teacher, but this is my viewpoint. All mistakes are mine. So I would like to take your permission before I start. Thank you. So you can see in this slide 6 eternal, timeless entities of universal context. The number 1, see the God or Ishvara, which is in nature conscious and most subtle entity and omnipresent. The second is eternal Sadguru, is also conscious entity, most subtle and omnipresent. Third is Akshar Brahm, conscious in nature, subtle entity, omnipresent by 1/4. The time, there is no characteristics. And then moon, Prakriti, which is in nature is inert, less subtle, and limited existence. And then finally, the soul, which is conscious and less subtle, with limited existence. Asam you chayo vidwad atma apnasi ay, amar ay, ajar ay, shashvat ay. What does that mean? Sirf atma, eternal entity ay, hit, kitcha, use again, eternal entities and so now, question arises, virtuous path to eligibility. This is a journey for self-realization. And a self-realization ke life, ya Atma Bodh ke life, ya Brahm Vidya ke life, ya recognizing your true nature, ya a self-realization ji a journey ya, wo asa kiyan ta kare saku, ma koshish kari ya muktasar taan explain kaya. So, eligible tamam zaruri hai. So, what is eligibility? So, eligibility ke liye baat 4S model aaya Sanjay Bahingam yo देखो survey में क्या है ये असल जो book का क्या है the book इन्हें book में यो 4S model आया the 4S model I will explain to you the service, good company, meditation, and self-reading. So, ये चीजें the sadhana, meditation, means spiritual practice or disciplined effort. Sadhana refers to the regular practice that purify the mind and strengthen spiritual awareness. It includes meditation, inner discipline, self-control, and consistent effort on the path. Through sadhana, the seeker moves from theory to direct experience. So in brief, sadhana is a personal effort to transform oneself. So I'm talking about meditation, sadhana chimka. This is one of the S. The second is swadhyaya, means self-study or self-reading. Self-study and study of spiritual wisdom. Swadhyaya means studying sacred teaching and reflecting on one's own inner state. It is not only reading scripture, but understanding their meaning and applying them in the life. It has right knowledge, clarity, and discrimination. In brief, the Swadhyaya is the cultivation of wisdom through study and reflection. That's the second S. And then the third is satsang, which I can say good company. when I say good company, company of truth or association with wise. Satsang means being the presence of truth, saintly people, and elevating teaching. It helps purify thoughts, strengthen faith, and keep the seeker inspired. Good company shapes character and keep one aligned with the higher ideals. In brief, satsang is a supportive spiritual environment that nurtures growth. That's the third S. And the fourth S is seva, meaning selfless service. Seva is a serving others without ego, pride, and expectation of reward. It develops humility, compassion, and detachment. Service becomes a way to express spiritual value through action. In brief, seva is a practice of spirituality through selfless action. So we have a 4S Mahingam Yoga model. So you have to assess yourself whether I'm eligible for this path. If not, then which area I should be working on to make that area more stronger. So I'm repeating again this in brief. Sadhana builds inner discipline, Swadhyaya builds understanding, Satsang builds right influence, Seva builds humility and purity in action. So you have to work on this 4S model to make yourself eligible. Now the question arises, why one must acquire eligibility? Asake cho eligibility is zarata. To find a Sadguru, to learn Brahm Vidya, to absorb and retain knowledge, to rapidly advance in meditation, to recognize other knowledgeable yogis. So these are the five things. Mathur elaborate what is a Brahm Vidya? Because Atma Gyan, Brahm Vidya, Atma Bodha, Panjo Parang is to know your true nature. You're not mind and body, but you are Atma. And the question today, what is Atma? So you need to understand, I need your attention. Brahm Vidya is a Sanskrit term. Brahman, the ultimate reality or absolute or the supreme consciousness. Vidya means the knowledge, wisdom or learning. So Brahm Vidya is the knowledge of ultimate reality, the knowledge of all eternal entities, including the soul itself. In Upanishad and Vedanta, Brahm Vidya refers to the highest spiritual knowledge that will lead to self-realization and liberation. So we can call it moksha. Brahm Vidya not just an intellectual knowledge, but direct realization that one's true self is one with Brahman. It's not an intellectual knowledge. It's experience. Is that experience you do through your body. So your body is a laboratory for this experience. So you do that with your own experience. Brahm Vidya is required for liberation and it's preached to only eligible seekers, and the complete knowledge and brilliance of Brahm Vidya descends only in a deserving and eligible soul. Only pure souls can rapidly advance in meditation to reach their destination. Now, key concept of Brahm Vidya. It's an experiential knowledge. Knowledge and practice are two facets of Brahm Vidya. Yoga-based knowledge and yoga based on deeds are both subsets of Brahm Vidya. Luxuries of life versus bliss. Modern world virtues is equal to luxuries, and progress in yoga meditation is equal to bliss. Aligned, firm, and beyond means we need aligned thought, speech, act, and firm knowledge beyond the mortal world. Freedom from Prakriti, I'll be using this term Prakriti, mortal world, or illusory nature. These are all three words have the same meaning. So freedom from Prakriti, Karam Yogi renounces but remain connected with Prakriti. Jnana Yogi breaks out of the bondage. Art of living versus breakout. Karam Yogis are masters in conduct of good deeds, etiquettes, and mannerism. The next slide, please. Karam Yogi are masters in conduct of good deeds, etiquettes, and mannerism. to the next slide. Yeah, that's. You can see here in this slide all yoga forms: Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga / Hatha Yoga. All are within the domain of Prakriti. All are within the domain of the Prakriti. Only the Vahingam Yoga ventures beyond Prakriti into conscious domain. So we have to come out of that Prakritic domain and move towards the consciousness domain. How we can do that? I'll explain it. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yeah. So the biggest challenge here is our mind. Mind is a challenge, hinders spiritual progress. That we have to work on our mind. So how we can work on our mind? We have to tame the mind. Tame, recondition, reform, transform, redirect the mind. As in Bhagavad Gita, described the mind as restless, turbulent, stubborn. In chapter 6, Lord Krishna explained that an uncontrolled mind as our worst enemy, while a disciplined mind become our greatest friend. Asanjo mind hi asanjo behtareen dost thi sake to, asanjo mind hi asanjo worst enemy thi sake to. This is also highlighted in Bhagavad Gita as well. Shri Krishna diya kal chave to mind asanjo dost ta na kero kam thota yo ta ne depend kare to ta mind ta ne to dost bhi a worst enemy bhi. So we have to work on our mind. It is tame. So, in chapter 6, Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says the mind is our good friend and at the same time is our worst enemy. It is tamed through not forcible suppression, but through consistent practice and detachment. Bertrand used the term viraga and abhyasa. So, abhyasa means consistent practice, detachment means virag means detachment. So, sange consistent practice karni podi, I detach from certain shenga in order to tame the mind. We need to understand the relation between controlled mind and eligible soul. In the third number, you can see you have to build the eligibility. All yoga form will build the eligibility. And finally, mind versus eligibility. Controlled mind is equal to eligible soul. So we have to understand this slide very carefully. The mind is a challenge. Tame the mind, build eligibility, and then you are eligible soul when you are controlled mind. Then mind is control, then eligible soul, and if realization the path mein ta agya wali shakoga. So I'll move to the next slide. So here you can see the internal organs of soul. 4 internal organs of soul through which it functions in the Prakriti or in illusory nature or in the mortal world. During this presentation, we will use these 3 terms interchangeably. The Prakriti is the same as the mortal world, is the same as the illusory nature. So as I said earlier, the souls are conscious and unique present entities. Since they are conscious, they have a knowledge. However, since souls are unique present, their knowledge is not complete as equal to other eternal entities, like Ishvara, eternal Sadguru, Akshar Brahma. The soul is also ignorant. As a human being by birth ignorant, you have जेके पर्दा है असांजे ज़हन ते मल विखेप ऐं आवरण इहे जेके टे पर्दा आहिनि उन्हनि खे असां कीअं हटाईंदासीं जेसिताईं असांखे ख़बर न हूंदी. So we need to learn that art to remove those जेके पर्दा आहिनि मल विखेप ऐं आवरण जो जेको पर्दो आहे. Since souls are eternal, they have a permanent existence. Their existence is independent of time. In other words, they have always existed and will always continue to exist. So soul has a 4 internal organ, as I said, the mind, the intellect, the chit, and ahankar. And again, Hindi mein chahiye man, buddhi, chit, ahankar. अंग्रेजी में ये चाहिए mind, intellect, memory, and ego. These are four faculties of mind जेके operate थे क्यों? ऐसा कि खबर कर मुझे तो सारी केडी faculty केडे वक्त में operate भी थे. Is this intellectual? Is it intellect or it is ego? We need to identify. Soul as a four organ, as I said, why do these four organs exist? The question arises, why do these four organs have been created to cause or facilitate the outward flow of consciousness of the soul into the mortal world? In other words, without the inspiration of these four organs, the five sense organs and five organs of being cannot function at all. जेके साजू कर्म इंद्रियन, जेके साजू ज्ञान इंद्रियन, they cannot function without the inspiration of these four organs. These four organs connect the soul to the prakriti or mortal world. असां जो जेको ॿाहिरी दुनिया सां जेको राब्तो आहे, कनेक्शन आहे, उहो हिननि माइंड, इंटेलेक्ट ऐं अहंकार जे थ्रू थिए थो. ऐं असांजो जेके ज्ञान इंद्रियूं, जेके नॉलेज सेंसिस चवनि, असांजो ऑर्गन्स ऑफ फील जेके कर्म इंद्रियूं चवनि, उहो हिननि फैकल्टीज़ खां सवाइ कमु न करे सघे. We need to understand the whole equation, how human body is functioning, how the internal organ of soul are functioning. So three of these are constructed out of five elements except the mind. जेके पंच महाभूता हैं, three of these are constructed out of five main elements except the mind. So mind is a semi-conscious entity. So the next slide, you can see the journey from bondage. Hidam and slide. इनमें असां ये सुधा था हेठ जेको जो इतना केक ठहलन, तो हित पे बते रखलन, तो जेको सनी gross body आहे. Now 6 progressive state of soul. When I say soul, means asanji, जेको असांजी journey हुई from liberation to bondage. It came from top to down. Now we have to go from bondage to liberation. Journey from liberation to bondage is a separate topic. We can spend an hour on that, but today we have very limited time, so I just made this presentation from bondage to liberation. Asanji bondage and liberation ki journey ki kaniya. So these are the 6 bodies: gross body, subtle body, causal body, mega causal body, and detached body, and finally the swan or Hans body. And in a look, we have to go back, please. Thank you. So the journey of the soul from bondage to salvation begins with the gross mortal body that you see at the bottom of the cake, which is laid up on top of each other. It begins with the gross mortal body, which is we call Astula Sharir, which we all are. Madani gross body like a physical body, you can see me, this is my physical body. And I can tell the Astula Sharir. And then more subtle is the Sokhim Sharif, the system salanda, respiration system, digestive system, and different systems salanda, visible line, but we exist Sokhim Sharia. So which is visible to form of our body. You can see the physical body is a visible form of our body. From there it progresses to Sokhim Sharif, which is the subtle part of our bodies, which we don't see, which is very much part of our bodies. From there on, the soul transitions to the causal body, which is Karan Sharif, and on the mega causal, which is the Mahakaran Sharif. From there on, it goes to the Kevalya Sharif, which is detached body form of the soul. I'm talking about this fifth detached body. In the Sarvati language, where Kevalya Sharif says the प्राकृतिक जोन जेको असांजो वो causal body तैयार होने का तो भी थोड़ो असांजो जेके memories and mega causal body तैयार, then we get detached from prakratic zone. Now the soul is fully detached in Kevalya state. So what is Kevalya said, as Arya we discussed further on, it goes to the Kevalya Sharif, which is detached body form of the soul, and finally the soul reaches its ultimate destination, which is Swan or Hans state. So now we have to understand how each body works. So gross body and subtle body. ये मुद्दा उदाहरण असां जेको फिजिकल बॉडी है जेका असां खे नज़र अचे थी उहा ग्रॉस बॉडी उन खे अस्तूल शरीर चइजे थो जेको इहो नज़र अचे थो हाणे इन बॉडी जे अंदर बि कुझु सिस्टम्स आहिनि जेके कमु था कनि उन खे असां जेको सो इहो चऊं था सटल बॉडी 5 sense organs and 5 organs of deep is equal to gross body. असां जा जेके पंच कर्म इंद्रियूं आहिनि organs of deep ऐं पंच ज्ञान इंद्रियूं knowledge senses, nak, kan, akhyon, ziban, touch, taste, the 5 senses are your knowledge organs, and the 5 action organs is your organs of deed, is equal to gross body, which is called the spoon sharing. And the 5 vital life forces, 5 vital life forces and 4 inner organs of soul is equal to subtle body. The question is the five vital life forces chant. These 5 pranas I can explain those, but due to the shortage of time, I will move on. If you have a question, you can ask me after the presentation. Definitely, I'll explain. Panch prana in the body in different areas. 5 vital life forces. 7 times 4 inner organs of soul is equal to subtle body. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now the next is the causal body. Now this process of delinking continues after the soul has delinked from the gross body, then from the subtle body. The next stage is when the soul deals with the 3 attributes of Prakriti, or illusory nature, or the mortal world. When we talk about causal body, there is a Prakriti and nature के जिन गुणन की गाल तक कयूं रज सत्तम रजो सतो तमो के गुणन cosmic energies and you can say them more of goodness, more of patience, more of endurance in English. Raj sattam the attribute in Prakriti that is your causal body. So then from the subtle body, the next stage is when the soul deals from 3 attributes of Prakriti. The Sat, Raj and Tam, when the 3 attributes are also done away with, then we say that the soul has transcended or it has shed the causal body. The inspiration for the outward flow of energy of the soul arises due to its interaction with these 3 attributes. The conflicts of these 3 attributes, which is called the 3 dot of Tilgum. Survey the conflict of these 3 attributes, which is called the 3 dot of Tilgum. The important data in the Kani Sandriya. It results in life beginning to flow into Prakriti or into the current of illusory nature or into the mortal world. And if there is a 10 gunansa, but the Jita Vanu, the nature that flow through. So we are still in a Prakritic zone. We are not in a pure consciousness zone. It results in life beginning to flow to Prakriti or into the current of illusory nature or into the mortal world. When the yogi detached from these 3 attributes, he renounces the causal body. What happens as a result? The outward flow of the energy of the soul stops. And the soul attains its conscious or Chetan form, which is different from it had in the domain of the Prakriti. Jare asa Prakriti je 10 gunan ka alag tha thi venu, the soul there was a conscious form actually. That is a conscious form of the soul. So the association of the soul with the illusory nature with Prakriti is a causal body form of the soul. And therefore, when 3 attributes of the mortal world or Prakriti are disassociated from the soul due to intense effort of yoga meditation. Hanasakiya detached the intense effort of yoga meditation, the soul comes into its pure form and it becomes brilliant and powerful. And due to the influence of the newfound state of the soul, the flow of the prakriti or the flow of the soul's energy to the mortal world stops. हिन स्टेट में जॾहिं असां टिनि गुणनि खां मतवारा थी वञूं त असांजो जेको एनर्जी जो फ्लो आहे उहो प्राकृतिक ज़ोन में फ्लो थियण स्टॉप थो थी वञे. So I'm repeating again, the soul comes into the pure form and it becomes brilliant and powerful. And due to the influence of the newfound state of the soul, the flow of the prakriti or the flow of soul's energy into the mortal world stops, and this pure soul now progresses to conscious devotion to attain the pure bliss of Lord. So upon the disassociation of inert prakriti from the soul, what do we witness? How do we witness the asanji disassociation thi ga asanji disassociation thi hui ya asanji body ki prakritik je gunan tha? You will experience, your body will experience. Like I said, your body is a laboratory for this experience. Nobody can tell you what will happen or that will happen. So you experience through your body this state. There is a complete, what do we witness? There is a complete absence of lethargy, sleep. Absolutely there is no need for such a yogi to sleep and still remain healthy. The soul here is in its native form or in its conscious form, and this is the symptom of renunciation of causal body. इतने भगत कबीर की गाल चाहिए हदत हल्या हर कोई अनहद न हल्या कोई उन्हें मकसद याद है हिकड़ी हद ताईं असां वञूं था प्राकृतिक ज़ोन में पर उन खां अॻियां असां नथा वञूं त कबीर चयो त हद बीरा रोए माना हदनि अंदरि हलण वारो इंसान आम आहे बेहद ॾांहुं हलण वारो इंसान जेको आहे उनखे तमामु डिघी समझ अची वञे त माना प्योर कॉन्शियस जो ज़ोन आहे उन में असां कीअं वञी सघूं. Next slide, please. Now, the fourth body is a mega-causal body. Then we move to the next state after the soul has moved out of the causal body. Further ahead, we will deal with the memories. And now, actual peace, it cannot be obtained until the memories of past sensory gratification and desires for more sensory gratification of prakriti or mortal world remain associated with the soul. Because the memories में बना हुए ख्वाहिशों वासनाओं या ता काश के छले लिया पर अन्य ता ज़हन में जो जायको में खोलते that means you are still attached. So mega causal जो शरीर है वो यार तो मेरे sensory gratification of prakriti or mortal world remain associated with the soul. In this special upper level of yoga meditation, all ignorance, memories, desires completely disappear. Why? Because they are destroyed from the root cause. This is the state of renunciation of mega causal state. So when all these desires and ignorance, memories have disappeared, then we say the mega causal state or Mahakala Sharir is also being transcended. Mega-causal sharir or Mahakara sharir is also the state of the soul. The absolute state which has been acquired by it when it was coming down from the state of salvation. And so the mega-causal state so this mega-causal sharir or Mahakara sharir is also the state of soul which had been acquired by it when it was coming down from the state of salvation. जैसे असानी journey salvation का bondage तरफ वही थे उन वक्त ये state देखा हुई हमारे साथ उन flow against था. So soul was initially a state of salvation, but because of ignorance and because of ego developing in it, it had embarked on a downward journey into its own will. And this happened because the soul developed a strong desire to perform deeds and bear the consequences in a mortal world of prakriti. So I'm emphasizing this when the yogi gets seated on a higher level of meditation, after renouncing his gross body, subtle body, causal body, and memories of sensory gratification of the past, which we call sanskars, or which is stored in chit, one of the internal organ of soul, along with their desires associated with them are also described. And this is when we say the Mahaparachari or megacosm body has also been transcended, renounced by yogi. So the thing to understand here is that desires of sensory gratification is the root cause of association of soul with Prakriti or mortal world. So now, when the soul begins to believe, now this is the detached body. Now we are completely, soul is completely separate from Prakritic zone, nor is a part of the pure consciousness zone. Detached body form. When the soul begins to believe due to ignorance that itself is the Lord, then it begins to forget its true form and it comes down into the flow of Prakriti. And in a statement, soul ke anger thi sake, I am the Lord. तो वो बिता का हेट वापस की सके. So in a area में असांखे सदगुरु जी या qualified teacher की जरूरत होती है जो वो सके further elevate करे. सगर हिता का भी soul hit downward journey करे सके. That's a very much risk here. The soul can come down from detached body back into the Prakritic zone. So the egoistic nature of the soul is called the detached body, because on the journey back into self-realization, the soul is getting completely detached from the illusory nature, from the Prakriti. This is detachment. So in Hindi, this form is called Kevaleshwari. What is the cause of Kevaleshwari? It is the egoistic thought of ignorance or due to ignorance that comes into the soul of Aham Parmasma. I am the Lord. He who has a servant to believe that he is the master. So Malik, nobody or something, but Malik है, या feeling कैसे होने की? मना यो ego अहंकार, पर वो Malik नहीं. उनके feeling कैसे से कि detached statement, I am the Lord. So it is the root cause of downfall of the soul. In reality, the soul can never become the supreme being. There are 6 eternal entities. The supreme being, or the Lord is one of them. The soul is another one of them. The 6 eternal entities always existed as a separate entities. They do not merge into each other. One does not become the other. So now the question arises: in a detached body, the law the law by properties acquire character. But law by nine, the by office body, they will become iron again. Thori देर में buy properties acquire कर सके लो, पर जब law के जो अंगार थी तो मैं buy है, तब you drew ना. So in this state में, that's why they say it is an egoistic state of soul due to ignorance. Soul के जो thought which is saying तो I am the God. This state केवल detached body state हाँ soul वापस भेज सकती है. So now the question arises: what is the samadhi state then? What is samadhi state? Samadhi state. In the samadhi state or in the samadhi state, yoga meditation, the soul acquires the form and properties of the Lord. And iron rod immersed in the fire acquires the form of properties of the fire, but the iron rod does not become fire when taken out of the fire, it comes back into the form of fire. So does the soul after coming out of the state of samadhi. So in the state of samadhi or in salvation, the soul is consuming the bliss of the supreme being and acquires form and properties. But it does not merge into the supreme being like to an inert object merging into other. The soul is not derived from any entity. It is an eternal entity. When the state of ignorance of the soul is lifted, the soul gets free from the bondage of the Prakriti. Finally, the swan is singing. Now, through the practice of yoga meditation, the detached form of the soul, this Kevaleshwari, is renounced. And when this is renounced, the soul gets free of the state of ignorance. in which it was forced due to its association with illusory nature of Prakriti. In this pure conscious form, the soul now enters into the ocean of experiential world. That is Lord. The soul gets completely immersed in the ocean, like fish in the water. With the soul completely immersed in your bliss, the zone में ईश्वर सा मिली हुआ और किए तो ईश्वर सा मिली से soul when you detach, you dealing all these five stages, and the sixth stage is a swan state. जितने तान को थॉट है, जितने तान प्राकृतिक जोन का परे हो, जितने तान detached body form में बोले हो. The soul gets completely immersed in the ocean like a fish in the water, or it becomes blissful in the acquisition of the form and properties of the Lord. This is the swan state of the soul. It is like that fish in water, swimming in water to reach the ocean, and once it reaches the ocean, it happily immersed into it. In the same way, the pure state of the soul. And now, last slide, second last. Samadhi state of Vangam Yoga. Samadhi state of Vangam Yoga. In this Samadhi state of Vangam Yoga meditation, where there is a complete absence of three attributes of nature of Prakriti, only the yogi achieves stability in his unbroken Samadhi state for a very long period and remain immersed in the bliss of the Lord. The Samadhi state of yoga meditation is attained only upon disassociation with Prakriti. Therefore, the Samadhi that you hear from other yoga meditation methodologies, it is obtained within the domain of Prakriti, that is inert Samadhi. Samadhi is conscious Samadhi versus inert Samadhi. Samadhi within the 1.8 focus or target Samadhi, but that is in the Prakritic zone. It's a Jada Samadhi. We are talking about Chetan Samadhi. And Chetan Samadhi, what is the difference between Jada Samadhi and Chetan Samadhi? A Jada Samadhi can be obtained by you at any time when you are completely immersed in an object. When your mind and intellect are completely immersed in the manan and vivechan, or in the regulation of any object, or even in thought or past, there is a chintan going on in the chit along with the mind. You could be in a state of samadhi because at that time the world doesn't exist for you. You're completely immersed, but that is a jada samadhi. You're immersed, but that is a jada samadhi. That is an inert samadhi. That is a state of samadhi within the realm of Prakriti. When yogis achieve a state of conscious samadhi in which there is no Prakriti, the soul acquires a pure form devoid of Prakriti, and then enjoys the bliss of the Lord in the state of complete knowledge, where all ignorance is gone. Because recall, when there is ignorance, the swan state changes into Kevalya state. So in the state of complete knowledge, in the conscious realm, the soul attains the Lord, and after the knowledge of Vahingam Yogi stabilizes, it keeps on getting brighter with each passing day, and the yogi stays in bliss. Hatha yogis operate in the domain of mortal world. As we say, the inner samadhi state lasts only till they can stabilize the mind and the pranas, or the vital life forces through breath exercise. However, Vahingam yogi, once they attain the Lord, they always stay immersed in that conscious flow of nectarous bliss at the abode of the Lord. Therefore, Vahingam yogi is a Vedic experiential pathway in which the soul breaks away from the base of property, and only after this breakaway the samadhi state or state of devotion obtained in its entirety. In this state, we said earlier, there is a complete lack of lethargy and sleep. Even when yogi is not in the state of samadhi, he completes his sleep in a few hours. Thereafter, he resumes his inner immersion of devotion to the Lord. The flow of consciousness of this yogi to Prakriti, or in the outer domain to the sense organ and organs of being completely stops during the samadhi state. and the pure relationship of soul with the Supreme Being stably emerge. The yogi can maintain their samadhi state of Vahingam yoga meditation for a very long period of time, maybe for 6 months as a stretch, during which they are able to maintain this unbroken state through a stable body posture. These are the symptoms of detachment of the soul from causal or mega-causal body, and upon renunciation of this state, the soul leaves Prakriti and comes into its conscious form. So the conclusion, the mind and our senses work only after associating with the energy of the soul. The yoga meditation practitioner does not have awareness of the mortal body upon the inward turn of the energy of the soul. Hence, there is no action related to the outward association of his mortal body. In other words, his soul transcends outer world, then consciousness of his soul gets connected into its subtle body. Since the gross and mortal body is not conscious, it is discarded during yoga meditation. Asa because gross and subtle bodies was a discard through yoga meditation. Attainment of the Lord and liberation happen through this very mortal body and human life through the science of yoga, Supreme Lord from his conscious form, and it attains the blissful form of the Lord. Prakriti gets progressively discarded as the energy of the soul progressively increases, and ultimate happiness or bliss of the Lord obtained through yoga meditation. So with this, I would like to end up my presentation and thank you for patient listening. So this is the final slide that I added. You can see 5 levels of Vahingam yoga meditation. Amazing control over mind at the level 1, control over mind. That's the level 1. And the second level, purification of mind and realization of Om. That's the second level. And the third level is awakening of Kundalini, which will complete in this third level. And the fourth level, absolute or permanent no mind state, which is the fourth level, self-realization. And the fifth level, achieve the ultimate goal of human life, God realization or Ishvara realization. You are completely blissful. So these are the 5 levels of Vahingam yoga meditation. And it's our Sant Naamdeo ji Maharaj Aaya Asa first level of exercise. I hope सॼी ॻाल्हि खे सम्झो हूंदो जेके तव्हांजो क्वेश्चन आहे त वी विल आंसर असां संत नामदेव साहब जी आहिनि असां वटि आंसर करण जे लाइ विनोद जी आहिनि आंसर करण जे लाइ if anybody have any question, can you start question answer session, right? Yeah, if you can you have a question, please come forward.
Has any question over this presentation, so everybody can ask.
Question I had for any of the content within the slide. I'll share the slide in the group as well. Originally I recorded my voice on that slide, but later on I thought I'm here present so I can explain. कोशिश करी आप लोगों थोड़ी बड़ी रिसर्च आपको राज या रखिया अगर का मिस्टेक आ वो माफ करो go ahead. This presentation is based on Bhagavad Gita? Yes, Bhagavad Gita जो मैसेज आता था 8th chapter देखो सो अक्षर ब्रह्म की गाल को करें. I hope Sorry, I can't hear her. So.
What I mean to say that flying state में आपकी alliance की जो state आपने achieve करी, तो वो आपकी final state है, वो eternal state है forever, right? You will never come back into from there.
Can you explain the question, please?
Yeah. So what I'm asking is that.
Echo.
So what I'm asking is that once the soul goes to the conscious state, it will come back to the human state. That's what it is, right? Yeah. So my question was that once it reaches to the conscious state, that is free from the bondage, and it has ultimately united with the God. That conscious state.
So, the enhanced state में you're completely immersed in a Chetan Samadhi, and that you can make no wrong, would depend on the any practice criteria.
But that is permanent, right? That is forever.
Well, you can exercise, you can practice more than 3 months, 6 months, whatever time you can practice. You can in that state, but once you, Vinodji, would you like to answer this question?
So that remains permanent, but only thing is that there is the chances that the soul which remains in the Hans avastha, it can again come down also. So, and there that's what when we read the Sarved on the first doha, right, during our chanting, झीन आए झीना चलो मन व त्याग संजो क्रमशः सूक्ष्म हो रहो अग्रगमन गतियो. So the soul, right, it came from झीन आए झीना चलो. It was झीन, like the swan state, whatever Dilip Ratnani ji has mentioned, right? So it is the Hans avastha. So it came down. So our soul was, right, at certain time it was mukt. It was liberated. But sometimes it with the effect of the prakriti, it comes down. Jhina aaya jhina chalo. So it came down from the Sushma to the Astur, and again with the yoga, the meditation, whatever Swamiji has mentioned in the Vihangam yoga, we need to make it reverse. So through the 5 stages of Vihangam yoga, whatever the Dilip Ratnani has mentioned, so Swamiji has mentioned in the survey, all this Sarir, right, when we do the meditation with the 5 stages, we move it back again to the Hans state until we remain in the periphery of Sadguru. That's why Sadguru is needed. Once we are liberated, we need to be in the periphery of Sadguru who can hold us, because we need a force who is supreme, where somebody can hold us so that we can remain in that state. That's why there is the importance of Sadguru, so that we can remain in that Hans state. It depends after certain times, until and unless you are not in the periphery of Sadguru, because you need some force who can hold you. Yeah.
The question is, once you are in a Hans state, you are permanently there, or you can come down. Is that your question? That once we are in a Hans state? Right. So once we are in a Hans state, do we remain in that state or we can come down? Well, I understand the question. That's the soul's downward journey that she's asking. Is there a possibility that from Hans state we can come down to detachment back to the causal and back to the gross and subtle body? Is there a possibility? Do we need a qualified guru at this state which can elevate us and keep us remain in that 6th state? So can you elaborate? So you get
Yeah, just to answer your question, okay, so you mean that once you have achieved liberation, is there any likelihood of coming back to human form? Is this a question? Right? Okay, right. Well, once you have crossed the Kaivalyavastha is, it was so well explained by Dr. Sahab Sindhi ji, that it's like once a piece of iron put into the furnace of fire, it actually embodies all the attributes of the fire itself. And then that piece of iron starts to recognize itself as the fire. Okay? So that's the Aham Brahmasmi, my Brahmahu. This is not the truth, because Almighty and soul, they are two different entities. So, after crossing over the other side, after reaching, that's when you need the Sadguru, you need the Master to tell you that you are not the Supreme Being. Though you have attained that level of all the greater characteristics, all the greater aspects of the grandiose cosmological and beyond cosmological, the Akshara Brahma, and beyond the Akshara Brahma, because we're talking about here beyond the Akshara Brahma. Though you have all the powers of the universe, the cosmology, and beyond the Akshara Brahma, though you have achieved everything, despite that, you are not a Brahma. That's when Sadguru is needed. Because if you have the Aham Brahmasmi, then you cannot reach the final stage. You cannot attain moksha. Because you have deluded yourself into believing something which is false. As a God yourself. So, after Sadguru helping you through the process and alienating you from this belief that you are God, only then you can be transferred into the zone of nectar, the moksha. So here comes the question that you asked. After achieving moksha, are you coming back? Not at all. You are not coming back. But there is a but. Suppose God decides that there has to be some form of my manifestation to emancipate the suffering of human beings in one's lifetime. So someone comes here at his own will, descends down on the earth to emancipate the suffering souls. So they do come, it's not that, but do they have to come? No. They are bound by any system, any dynamics? No. So they won't be bound because since they have already been liberated to incarnate themselves as a form of God manifestation. Like Buddha came, Mahavira came, right? And our very Julilalji came, right? Julilalji came, so Jai Julilalji. So these masters, they achieve that level. They come at the will of God to emancipate the human beings from their suffering, to show the light to the world. Like Jesus, you can say. So Krishna, Devi Maharaj, you can say. So these are the actual masters. So they do come, but they are not bound by the critic.
But very rare people can achieve.
Yes, you are right. Honestly speaking, if you cross the mega chasm, that's Mahakarana Sarira. Uh, to be honest with you, maximum, all the yogis that you see today as a form of so-called God-free manifestation, they have attained that level, not beyond that. Very few is there. It's true. That's true, because you have actually decoded the mystery of the universe in a way. You know the body, you know the mind, you have transcended the body and the mind, and you have dissolved yourself into everything there is in this universe. What is this body is made of? The tree is also made of anything. Anything that you see around you is made of exactly the same thing. Can you think of anything which you see here is made out of this Prakriti? Whether it's a cell phone, whether it's this, everything has been exploited from here. And we have invented, right? So now someone has gone beyond that. So it means that you have got all that power. You are very powerful, but you are not God. You haven't got liberation. You are not entitled to be liberated. That's why Sri Krishna always talks about the same thing, that one should not display what power he has. He had to in the battlefield of Mahabharata because Arjuna did not believe in him. Right? Otherwise, the inward journey to achieve salvation is very different than the very orientation which is required at times to display your power to create order out of chaos. So Mahabharata was a chaos, and there has to be order. So for that, Sri Krishna had to manifest himself, that who I am and what my purpose is. Therefore, he had to do it.
Is not reality, which is mentioned in yoga in the Vedas, Upanishad, like in Chandogya Upanishad. That's not asking. This is Aham Brahmasmi. You are that. You are God. Why in Vedas it is time and again said Aham Brahmasmi? Why Vedas are saying this, that you reach that state, what we say, Krishna saying Jivan Mukta, that why they are talking about that if you think there's one stage over there which is Soham, because before that you're deluded when you are saying Aham Brahmasmi. Why it is mentioned in Vedas? Can we go Krishna?
Aham Tattvamasi, yes, you are that actually. And so Aham, these do come in. It's true. It's just that, as we progress from the Sukshma, the school and Sukshma Karan, Mahakaran. So what happens in this journey? Like you achieve the Samatva Bhava, the sense of equanimity in all aspects of your life. Okay? It is encouraged to say Tattvamasi. It means that you should not lose the path. You should be steady and be at it no matter what happens. So Aham Tattvamasi means actually you are that. It is encouraged. You are that. Don't lose your path in between. You are that. Of course we are that. But despite that, we can never become one because God is one. Eko Deva. Then it also says Eko Deva. Sarva Bhutesu Guna. Eko Deva. There is one. You all believe that? All religions do believe in one concept that is common in all religions. That we all believe there is one consciousness. Right? So there cannot be many. Right? So it's like you have a seed, and that seed goes into soil, and it protrudes up and comes up, and it goes really tall, and there are many fruits actually. So what is the origin of the seed? Again, the seed manifests itself in the form of the fruit. You can eat the fruit, again you have multiple seeds actually. So what is that one seed that came up the first? Now there is a deluge of seeds. You cannot be counted at all. But what is that one? The origin that permeates into all seeds that they are. So we are actually that seed. But what is that one? We can become one at the same time. There has to be just one. Eko deva sarvabhutipurna sarvavyapi sarvabhutanantara. He says that now since the quality of the same seed permeates into everything, and once we go beyond the body and the mind, we imbibe the same seed into us. It means all the characteristics of that comes into us, but we do not become that seed. And of course, that one where it came from is oblivious to each of us. We do not know that one seed, right? So there are a number of, let's say, mangoes. There are a number of seeds actually. All the fruits have a seed, and it can be multiplied and multiplied into innumerable numbers. But where is the origin of that one seed? Though all of the mangoes have the same seeds, have the same attributes, but still, what was the origin of the first seed? So we all come over let's say the mango here would be different from the mango planted in India and Pakistan, right? Or Iran. So according to demographic realities, of course, the religion will come up, there will be different forms of religion according to the locations and the geography, demographic natures actually, the weather. But it's the same seed, whether what we believe in could be quite diverse and different, eclectic in our own unique way, but we all have the same belief system, that there is one. But the very facets of it are very different in a way. So seed is one, but it has got innumerable facets of this manifestation, which cannot be logically deduced, cannot be understood on the mental level, in a way. So, in a way, you can say that after reaching that Kavalyavastha, you actually reach to that level. You see that, oh, you are the origin of the seed, you are the first one. But you may be among many others who have attributed the same seeds, same characteristic, but you are not that. It's like we are Atman, but at the same time, this Atman has Paramatman as well. So what you're saying actually it has come from the Atma. The Atma is actually Paramatma. To answer your question, actually, specific query, actually it says that Atma itself has Paramatma. So Tattvamasi, you are that. So don't think that you are any demeaning, person. You are a person of a great character, let's say. So actually it is used in a very encouraging way. That don't forget that you are also that. Okay, while you are performing all the worldly duties, you may engage yourself into so many other things which may not be the most appropriate for a human being to do, but despite that, you are also that. Don't forget that. So actually it comes back again and again, I think from the very idea of, encourage someone to do better than what the person is doing, who's maybe doing. Because Atma also has Paramatma. But Paramatma has to be just one. journey never stops actually. Once you have achieved something, okay, and you have improved, okay, it's like, let's say that you learned how to drive when at the age of 18 or 19 or 20, and after that you became a CEO of a company. Now you don't have to drive, but there's a driver for you. 20 years down the line, you've not driven. So you will not actually forget how to drive. You do need a bit of practice. So once you have reached to some level, and it also says that Albert Einstein in fact said that anything that is stretched, it will never come back to its original form. Right? Because the mind is a neuroplasticity. You have got this cortex, which is so powerful. Once the imagination of that has been stretched, it would not be back to where it began from. So let's say something, you achieve some level, but you, because of some foibles, let's say that, and you, because of some drawbacks, you kind of came back again, like you went down the drain, let's say that. But you do know that there was a time to achieve something. So the likelihood of getting to the same place again is more plausible, more convenient for you in your mind, that no, I reached there at some point in time. I will actually still make my journey way back. I will still make my journey way back. So it's always better to actually engage yourself in that activity, rather than thinking, oh, because of my drawback, I put myself into some, let's say, debilitating traits, because of which I do not think I'm qualified enough, I'm eligible enough for that. But it was you in the first place. You also did that. Just because of one tiny mistake, let's say you came down, it is your question. Because you could not stay course with the same rhythm for a longer period of time, you came back. So in that case, it's not that it is a real loss. You'll have to make the journey back again, but just like the driver who learned, just like you learned how to drive at a certain age of life, and after a huge gap, you won't actually forget it completely. You will certainly remember. So in the same way, you can come back again. But yeah, you need to stay at it. That is true. But the whole idea is, well, it's like self-improvement, evolutionary, like it's a permanent process. It's like it will never come to an end. I would strongly suggest everybody to be seated here, about one thing. Do not put yourself in this mode of self-improvement. Because it would not yield the result that you desire for. It is a never-ending process. Of course we shall try and make a better version of ourselves. Of course we shall do that. Who doesn't know? You don't need that advice. You are intelligent people. You may be highly qualified than I could ever be. But the whole idea is, this, because I was into it myself, and there would never be a time in the future that this whole idea of self-improvement will cease to exist. It will always be there with you. It will end only after Susman Prabha, only after your Kundalini Jagran. Before Kundalini Jagran, it would not happen. The process will continue. So, I would certainly, it's a very, it has not, it is not something to do with the spirituality, but it's better to change the very narration of what is happening here. So what happens is, I can tell you, I can just give you a small clue. Okay. Shall I give you a clue? A very good clue. Okay. and it worked really well actually. Anything that triggers you, okay? And you do not find yourself the person who should have engaged himself into that action. Okay? Now you are a bit regretful of your action. Okay? Now action is over. Now it's gone. Okay? Now you cannot do anything about it. Please take a pause. What happens, what generally happens to you? Because you go into the loop of reaction. Does it happen to each of us? Something that we did and we are not proud of that action. And instantly, at that point in time, about 12 to 15 minutes, 3 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes. Only for 15 minutes, once you realize the drawback, the mistake that you may have committed, let's say that. 3 minutes, 12 minutes and 15 minutes. Only for 15 minutes, please do not react to the triggers of your body. It means that your body knows more than your mind. Your body knows more than your mind. Because it has repeated the action over and over again. So after that mistake that you have made, you may, let's say, ashamed of. Okay, let's say that, okay, just ashamed of. Right? Defy your tongue. Say, verbalize those words which you should not be using for yourself. You will demean your soul. Don't do that. Even though action has been performed. Even though action has been performed by you, please do not utter those negative words about yourself. So 3 minutes, because that will very, like, the neurons will catch up and the cells of the body will remember the past residual memory, how you reacted last time. And the same pattern will repeat itself. How long? How long? This is the absolute, like, we all get entangled in the loop. So next time it happens to any one of us here, my dear friends, my request to you is, do not respond to that drama. Okay, I committed a thing which I am not very proud of. You may be ashamed of. Let's say that. You did something bad. Right? Do not say anything bad about yourself. Do not say good about yourself. It's not because that would be really absurd. Because you cannot do that. Just be silent. Stay away from everyone and just sit down. Take a deep breath. Take a bow. And just stay with yourself for 15 minutes. It will reduce its, let's say, intensity of emotion by 70 to 80%. And after that, you can make a call. So this has happened to me many times. But if you repeat the same sentences about yourself over and over again, it is not going to help you. So self-evaluation, what is actually outrageous in this country, let's say, is very normal in every country. The kind of people dress up here would be considered totally outlandish in India and Pakistan. Say that. So it's a mental form. I mean, it's because the family, where we were born, the society, it has conditioned us to believe in certain aspects of life. It's not the truth. As we cross over to the side, it's a different reality altogether. The lifestyle that we have. What is considered totally normal is totally outrageous in some places. Because it has happened because of the civilization and the evolution in the civilization and the place. So you can never blame yourself actually. Let's say a woman in sari in India is considered very good, but what about Saudi Arabia? What about Saudi Arabia? It's like, no, you have to cover yourself, right? So, the guilt and all of that, the shame and all that, I think it changes according to place, time and situation. Everything changes, according to place, time and situation. So never to be harsh on yourself. Because I've seen people who actually delve into a lot of self-improvement thing, they actually kind of become very introspective and they are very hard on themselves, which is not a good idea from my point of view. So what you can do is take a pause for 15 minutes and you can maybe light up a diya, concentrate there, take a bow, and I think your reactionary mind will diminish and then you can take a bow. Okay. Dr. Dalip. So we have this body, right? Gyanendriya, he said about the Gyanendriya and Karmendriya, right? So all these yoga forms of yoga. So if you look at that Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, so it's all about how aligned we all are actually. So a lot of people, they work really hard, and they think work is worship. Is they put themselves into it. Like there's nothing else but to work. Okay. But again, the very description of Karma Yoga will be very different. It means the performing action, but at the same time devoid of its effect. So we won't go into all of that actually. It means you are working, but at the same time you are totally bereft, that you are totally not into it. It means that you are detached from the action of it. You are performing action, but you are performing action in the form of yoga. That's why yoga has named it. It's not only karma, it's karma yoga. So whenever the yoga comes in, it means that tattvamasi. It means the same thing that you are that. You are none of what you are doing. So whenever yoga comes in, you have to remember tattvamasi, the question he asked. It means you are not that. So if you are into jnana, you are not that jnana. If you are into karma, you are not that karma. Do everything, but you are not that. Okay. And then bhakti yoga, do bhakti, but are you the one who are performing bhakti? Huh? Tattvamasi. No, you are not that. You are not that. Okay. And then again, Raj Yoga, it means you have absolute clarity about life. Absolute clarity. Because you exactly know what to do. And all the mental fog has been cleared, all that sounds your energy field is right in order, you exactly know what to do. You grow out of your proclivity, your biased tendencies, and you perform beyond your emotions. So no emotion can trap you, no drama can trap you. Okay, so that's again, you are operating at that higher level, but you are not that actually. You are something different. You are that yoga. So these are all forms actually to engage oneself righteously according to the person who's performing it. Because all of us are wired and fired in a different, unique way. Right? Someone would like to go to temple and perform puja, do dhyan sadhana, so for that bhakti. Someone would like to, maybe someone is a managing director, Raj Yoga would be appropriate for that person because he has to work and perform at a level of CEO or managing director. Karma Yoga, maybe someone is into industry. So they are all kind of that. And maybe someone is a Brahmin or who's into preaching business or something like that, who can actually engage themselves with Jnana Yoga. At each point in time, how you should be performing action. So he is into purification of it. At the same time, it's yoga. So you are not what you're doing. So it actually talks about the detachment. You are doing it at the same time. not doing it. So let me kind of make it very simple for you. Have you seen lotus? And have you seen where it grows? The water is very clean or murky. It's not, it's very dirty, right? Right. So these yoga talk about the same concept. Okay. The lotus may be white or pink or pinkish or whitish, yellowish at times, according to the water. But water is always not clean. And if you try to put water on petal of those lotus, will it stay? It won't stay. Even a drop of water will not stay at all. But where it has gone from? Where it has it grown from? From that murky water. So you are into the prakriti. Yes, yellow and all kind of colors you have, your green. But you are none of that. You are that lotus. So you are in that prakriti. You are in different industries, somebody accountant, somebody in ministry, somebody a preacher, somebody a scholar. But are you there? So it's like a lotus. The lotus could be here, there, everywhere. You could be working anywhere in the world, any industry. But are you that much? You know there? So he talks about the concept. You are like a lotus. So that's why all the Sanatana Dharma temple have this lotus concept. So if you put that water, the water will stay. So despite it has grown into that murky water, dirty water, it has remained itself detached from it. True? And you love it. You go and pluck it. You don't get water like that. You don't have the water, but you want to pluck the lotus. So same concept is there. Yeah. How is actually Vihangam Yoga different? Right. Actually Vihangam Yoga, the word Vihang, actually is a bird. The bird is called Alal Pakshi. So what happens is, during, when it hatches the egg and it comes down, and as it comes down and comes out of the hatch, it actually innately, organically remembers the origin where it has come from. Then it kind of remembers, why am I going down? Why am I being down? This is not my place. So then he starts going up. The moment he remembers, my parents are not down there. My parents are up there. This is where I have come from. So this occurs during the hatching process. Right? So in the same way, we have these pulling senses, it gravitates downwards, like all the senses, the eyes, the smell, the taste, the touch, everything. What it does, it sucks away all the power of the soul, right? And we meander through many paths and lanes. Why? Because these pulling senses, the gravitating forces of this prakriti, this maya, pulls us downwards. It actually takes us towards prakriti. So Vihangam Yoga says, this is not your path. Go upward. And our Gurudev actually has written in his Swaraveda, Alala Pakshi Mohi Aayegara. Alala Pakshi Mohi Aayegara. Kaise ulte jaye. It's a beautiful one actually. Alala Pakshi Mohi Aayegara. It means Alal Pakshi remembers. Now remember Aayegara. Remembers its origin. Kaise ulte jaye. Now how to go upward? Uthat urat chale. Uthat urat chale. Matu Pita Ghar Paale. That's such a beautiful description which Sadguru Sudhapadevji Bhagwan has actually mentioned in this story. Then now he remembers the origin, his parents, his mother and father, and he goes back. Then he reunites with his parents. So the same thing, Paramatma. So we are all manifestation of Paramatma. So we go back to the Almighty through the, just like the Alal Pakshi, which is beyond the gravitational force and flies high up in the sky. In the same way, Atma, after leaving aside this attachment with the Prakriti and this body, flies up in the sky. It means that Atma goes towards the real ascension and unites with the ultimate, the Brahma. जी
नमस्कार जी। यहाँ वैद या जितनी भी जैसे आपने बताया कि आत्मा और परमात्मा एक ही चीज या एक आत्मा इज पार्ट ऑफ परमात्मा। Then where is the need for this attaining that highest level? When you are already part of that, then why do you want to attain that state?
सर आप काम करते हैं, कहाँ पे काम करते हैं?
Very tired.
हाँ?
Very tired.
अच्छा, तो आप कहीं काम करते होंगे? अच्छा, राइट। तो क्या आप चाहते थे कि हम बड़े पोजीशन में चले जाएं? जैसे आपको पता है कि मैं यहाँ पे कोई कार्य करता हूँ और मुझे किसी विशेष अवस्था में पहुँचना है। मान लीजिए मैं एक प्रोडक्शन मैनेजर हूँ।
मैंने आपका सवाल समझा। Let me rephrase it. I have really understood and realized that state that my Atma and the Paramatma is same, then why there is need for attaining that state?
Right. So first of all, the very जो अभी दिख रहा है, अगर आप परमात्मा होते तो पहली बात तो आप यहाँ पे होते ही नहीं और आप ये प्रश्न ही नहीं पूछते। तो यानी पूछ रहे हैं कहीं ना कहीं आपके अंदर वो जिज्ञासा है। आप ये मानते हैं जिज्ञासा है? You have that curiosity in you. सही?
हर इंसान सीकर तो है।
हाँ।
All the time.
जी
to learn.
जी। हाँ 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 बात दीजिए, बिल्कुल दीजिए ना। Go.
वही कॉन्शियसनेस है, वही परमात्मा है जो कि बिल्कुल पीस है, ब्लिस है, कोई स्ट्रेस
नहीं हैं, वही बोल रहा था, हम जानते तो हैं पर हम बने नहीं हैं, हम बने नहीं हैं, we haven't become that as yet, we haven't become evolved as a person as yet, हम लोग अभी नीचे ही अपने स्तर पे ही हैं। जैसे आपने कह दे कि जी
and have realized. There are next stage now when we have already realized. Whoever not realized, that's something else. When we understand and realize, then what's the need for going higher and higher and higher?
well, you haven't realized, you know that you are Atman and Paramatman, you haven't realized, you have not realized. You have come to know he is a professor of mathematics and at the Yale University, and he holds a PhD degree. You know it. You have not reached there as yet as him. You know he is. You know that, but you have not reached there, my friend. You haven't realized. I'm sorry to say, but you cannot use the word realize. You know it. आपको पता है. आपको अनुभव नहीं है. पता होना एक चीज हो गया, अनुभव एक चीज हो गया। ये फोन है, ये सबको पता है, ये फोन में कैसे काम होता है ये किसी को पता नहीं है। आप कहते हैं कि मुझे पता है कि आदमी नहीं बनाया है ये फोन, मेरी तरह दो हाथ वाला था, दो आंख वाला था और एक कान वाला था। जैसे एक होता है जानना, एक होता है समझना, या बट या आपकी बात सही है। जो जिसको अनुभव हो गया, सपोज दैट आई हैव रियलाइज्ड दैट, हाँ, to break you free from the cycle of rebirth। वहां पे पहुंचने के बाद आप वापस शरीर में नहीं आएंगे, यही उद्देश्य है। अगर आना होगा तो अपने विल से, जब तक ये कर्म है, कर्मन की अज्ञान की जड़ चेतन की ग्रंथि है ना, तो जब तक ये साइकिल नहीं चलेगा, चलता रहेगा, तब तक शरीर मिलता रहेगा। क्या आप अपने विल से आए हैं इस पृथ्वी पर? आपकी कर्म है, राइट? Well, there are so many masters. Yeah. So you are here and having this discussion in what? In faith to seek answer. Well, there could be someone, if I am not the right. So if I may not be the most ideal person to answer the question, but since you are seated here, you have the faith in you that there is an answer to my question, and there is someone to answer that question. Who knows, at this point in time, I may not be that person. Right? So if you know that what you have just said, that if you are a realized soul and you know that, what's the point? The point is that you have to exhaust all the karmic impressions in this life. Won't you like to evolve as a human being, as a better human being? Won't you like to do that? कि वो अपने कर्मों से मुक्त हो जाए? बिल्ली को मिला है, शेर को मिला है, गधे को मिला है, घोड़े को मिला है. Do they have options to evolve as who they are? No. But do we have that? तो क्या हमें कहेंगे नहीं, डॉग है तो डॉग बन? You are better than them. You have device iPhone. You have space shuttles. You are sending, like Elon Musk is sending space shuttles to on Mars. So आपको तो evolution करना है. तो आप कहेंगे नहीं, मैं तो फिर आत्मा ही परमात्मा हूँ, मैं क्यों करूँगा? तो अगर इलॉन मस्क ऐसा सोच लेगा तो कुछ होगा ही नहीं। स्टीव जॉब ऐसा सोच ले तो बिल्कुल इतना बड़ा आज काम ही नहीं होता, इतना बड़ा ये कुछ भी आप देख रहे हैं। So I do believe we all are here to evolve as a human being. This is my personal thing, because we all have instinct, and what is that instinct? Just like animals, they feel hunger, so do we. They feel all other things, all the emotions, so do we. करते हैं जो उनको अनुभव होता है, हमको भी होता है, हमको भी उन्हीं चीज की आवश्यकता है जो उनको है। तो हमारे में और उनमें क्या फर्क है? The फर्क is consciousness. वो एक प्रोग्राम है, जैसे कि कुछ लोग आईटी वाले होंगे, प्रोग्राम बना देते होंगे, प्रोग्राम लोड कर देते होंगे, फिर वही प्रोग्राम चलता रहेगा। A dog is that program, a बिल्ली is that program। क्या आप प्रोग्राम हो क्या? Or do you want to begin, do you want to remain as program person? क्या हमें भी उन्हीं की तरह करना है? But you have what we call, you have instinct within you, but you do have that consciousness within you at the same time. We are not instinctively driven beings. They have some instinct, a program as a program, and they operate from there. But you can behave beyond the program and do something better. जैसे हम कर सकते हैं, इसीलिए शायद ये मनुष्य जन्म मिला है। हाँ, कुत्ते को पता नहीं है कि आज मंडे है, ट्यूसडे है, वेडनेसडे है, थर्सडे है, उसको कुछ भी पता नहीं है, पर हमें पता है। तो वो कुछ भी, उसको कोई नियम नहीं है, कुत्ता मंदिर में भी आ सकता है, कहीं भी जा सकता है, उसको कुछ पता नहीं चलेगा, राइट? तो वो प्रकृति के इस चल रहा है। हमारा क्या है, हमारे पास सब कुछ कॉन्शियसनेस में चल रहा है। हम चाहे तो 12 बजे रात को खाना खाएं, 2 बजे रात को खाना खाएं, हमारी मर्जी है। हम जब सुना चाहे सो लेंगे, लेकिन कुत्ते को आप एक टाइम में सोता है, क्योंकि वो प्रोग्राम्ड है कुछ काम करने के लिए। हमारे पास कोई प्रोग्राम नहीं है, पर सब कुछ करने का अधिकार ईश्वर ने, परमात्मा ने दिया है। तो क्या हम वैसे ही बने रहे कि we shall make it to do something better? Very powerful that we have, the power of doing whatever we want to do। लेकिन कुत्ता नहीं कर पाएगा, लेकिन हम कर सकते हैं। तो मुझे जहाँ तक लगता है प्रभु जी कि अच्छा यही रहेगा कि हम अपने आप को आगे बढ़ाएं और उन चीज़ों को अनुभव करने का प्रयास करें। और जो साधना ध्यान है, जिनका योग है, कोई भी योग है, राग योग है, मंत्र योग है, लय योग है, कोई भी है, ये माध्यम बनता है टू नो योरसेल्फ बेटर। तो हमको लगता है कि जैसे कोई प्रोफेसर है, जैसे एग्जाम्पल, बट आई एम नॉट बिकम द प्रोफेसर, आई नो ही इज, आई नो दैट आई एम, बट हैव आई रियलाइज्ड मायसेल्फ? नॉट रियली। सो इवन इफ आई हैव रियलाइज्ड, और मैं कहूँ कि मैं तो मनुष्य हूँ ही, मैं तो वहीं पे अच्छा था जहाँ पे पीछे था, तो वो भी एक अच्छा ऑप्शन है, लेकिन उससे इम्प्रूवमेंट नहीं हुआ, उससे हम आगे नहीं बढ़ पाए। बट यू हैड अ चॉइस, बट एज अ वाइज पर्सन, should you have used that platform to grow yourself? Of course you should have, but you did not. You chose something else to remain mediocre. Saying that, what's the point? So I think journey is very important, and जो process होता है सर, उसी से बदलाव होता है जीवन में। So I will.
Considering the time constraints and everybody time, so we are taking a pause on taking the question. So next we will be moving to the meditation.
Only know is there. किसको जीवन में सब कुछ प्राप्त करना है, बताएं? हाँ है। किसको हाँ है? सब कुछ प्राप्त करना है सबको? किसी को देखेगा जी? अच्छा, जिसको करना है, एक आपको बता दूं एक चीज, कल मैंने परसों किसी को बताया था। ओके, ये आप समय देख रहे हैं? कितना टाइम हो गया? 8:45 से 9 बजे तक एक काम करिए आप प्रतिदिन, कुछ भी मत बोलिए, किसी के बारे में बात मत करिए, कुछ भी मत सोचिए, 15 मिनट अपने लिए निकालिए। ये बहुत ही पावरफुल समय है। आपको मैं सीक्रेट बता रहा हूँ इस यूनिवर्स का। अगर इसमें आप 15 मिनट तक शांत हो रहे और प्रार्थना की या शांत बैठे रहे, तो आपके जीवन में चमत्कार हो सकता है। 6 महीने तक कीजिए, हो सकता है हो जाए। कुछ चीजें मेरे जरूर आगे बढ़ेंगी। तो आज से जो भी लोग हम हैं, मुझे पूरा विश्वास है ऐसे करेंगे। चाहे वाहे गुरु को मानते हो या झूले भगवान को मानते हो, किसी को मानते हो, आप कर सकते हैं। ये मैजिकल टाइम है, रात होने वाली है और बज गया, मैं भी शांत हो जाता हूँ। तो 15 मिनट ये साधना करते हैं। चलिए एक प्राणायाम कर लेते हैं, भ्रामरी प्राणायाम है। आप लोग आंखों को खोल लीजिए और चश्मा निकाल लीजिए अगर हो सके तो। आप लोग कुंभक रेचक पूरा करते होंगे, कपालभाति करते होंगे, ये भी सब करते होंगे, इसलिए हम लोग नहीं करेंगे। तो एक काम करेंगे, आप लोग पहले देख लीजिए इन दोनों आंखों को, इसको बंद करना है और कानों को भी इसे बंद करना है। ऐसा करेंगे पहले, उसके बाद हम लोग श्वास लेंगे, गहरी श्वास लेंगे, विल टेक अ डीप ब्रेथ। और छोटे समय हम लोग हमिंग जैसे मधुमक्खी का होता है करेंगे, ठीक है। तो 5 बार करेंगे, आप अपने कंफर्ट से करिएगा। इससे क्या होगा कि जितना भी आपने सुना है तो इसमें कुछ राहत मिल जाएगी सब। तो आपको करना क्या है, दोनों इनको आंखों बंद करना है, इससे दोनों को बंद करना है दोनों। 5 बार करिएगा, फिर गहरी श्वास लेना, टेक अ डीप ब्रेथ फ्रॉम योर नेवल एरिया, रोकना है। और जब आप छोड़ेंगे श्वास, एज यू ब्रीथ आउट जस्ट मेक अ जितना देर तक करना है 5 बार करिएगा, ठीक है। शुरू करते हैं, आप शुरू करिए, सभी शुरू करिए। इसको भ्रामरी प्राणायाम बोलते हैं। अनुलोम विलोम से पहले हमें कपालभाति करनी चाहिए, कपालभाति, अनुलोम विलोम, फिर भ्रामरी प्राणायाम जो अभी आप करते हैं। दोनों आंखों को बंद करते हैं, कानों को बंद करते हैं, फिर श्वास लेते हैं और छोटे से साउंड करते हैं। इसके बाद हम लोग अपने दोनों हाथों को पैरों पे रखेंगे, when both of your eyes are shady, and look at the tip of your nose. Let the thoughts come in and pass by you, but don't get carried along with them. Don't go with them. Just be the witness as the thoughts come in and you let them pass by you. You are just with the breath. You know you are breathing and breathing out. And you are here at the tip of your nose. विचार आते हैं और जाते हैं, सोच आती है और चले जाते हैं। दिमाग में बहुत कुछ चल रहा होता है, चलने दीजिए। आप उस अवस्था से, उस सिचुएशन से अवगत है, आपको जानकारी है। These ideas or stream of thoughts are some abstract form of things, not to get yourself entangled into them. Just as a witness of these waves, thoughts come and leave, come and pass by, yes. Just like breeze passes by, as the leaf flutters, you see the wind, but you do not get carried along with the wind. It passes by you. In the same way, a stream of thoughts come and pass by you. You see them through and let them go. You are here at the tip of your nose. shall be recited before the meditation, prior to this practice, not in between. The reason why I'm going, because just to help you, because since we're going for the first time, the initial stage of the year. Just give me a the stages of the yoga. So second stage will be quite easier. The first, it seems to be a bit awkward or difficult because you are outwardly distracted through your eyes, and it is a scientific fact that 80% of the energy actually is dissipated through our eyes. So that's why we have one specific spot where we concentrate. और इसे हम करते हैं तो हम देखेंगे हमारे में बहुत दृढ़ता होती है, हमारा मन शांत होता है, हमारा चित्त स्थिर होता है, और धीरे धीरे हम अपने स्वयं की यात्रा और अध्यात्म की तरफ आगे बढ़ते हैं। हमें गाइडेंस भी मिलता है, हमें हमारे जीवन में अद्भुत परिवर्तन होता है। 6 महीने बाद जब या 1 साल बाद जब हम आते हैं तो दूसरी भूमि का उद्देश्य जो राजयोग है से उस राजयोग का ज्ञान, जहाँ पे हम मन आंखों को बंद कर लेते हैं, फिर साधना करने में हमें आसानी होती है। तो ये पहला थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट होता है, दूसरा आसान हो जाता है। तो प्रतिदिन इस समय बोलना भी नहीं चाहिए, इस समय अगर इस समय बता दें कि हमको करना है, सुबह शाम करने का प्रयास करना चाहिए। जीवन में जो भी जिसने भी ये किया है उसको बहुत ज़्यादा लाभ हुआ है। हमारे गुरुदेव की प्रतिमा है, प्रथम गुरुदेव का एक पिक्चर लीजिए, जस्ट फॉर द रेफरेंस, बिकॉज ही इज द वन हू ब्रॉट फॉरवर्ड दिस नॉलेज। उनको प्रणाम करते हुए जस्ट टेक अ बाउ बिफोर हिम फॉर हिज ब्लेसिंग। हर साधना करिए, स्वरवेद है, स्वरवेद के 10 दोहों का पाठ करिए, वंदना आदि शांति पाठ है। अगर आप करते हैं तो पूरा विश्वास है कि आपके जीवन में there will be absolute transformation, एक बदलाव होगा। इसी विश्वास के साथ, यकीन के साथ मैं अपने बारे में जवाब देता हूँ। अगर कोई प्रश्न है तो अभी भी आप पूछ सकते हैं। और श्री गिरी जी को प्रणाम करता हूँ, और उन्होंने बहुत यहाँ पे अच्छा किया, और आप सभी आए। Truly acknowledge and honor your presence here. Thank you very much. My humble salutation to each of you here. Thank you very much. Holy Gurudev,
thank you for taking patience for this complete session, even we little bit delayed. So we will be just finishing in 5 minutes with our closing prayers. So we will be doing the short vandana and then aarti and the final part. Vidya Phula Guru. Jai Gurudeva Hare, Sadguru Deva Hare, Shisha Janan ke Sanshay Chad mein Dur Kare, Jo Sharan mein Aave, Sadpat Paave, Moha Mite Jiva Ka, Sukha Shanti Re Paave, Dukha Mite O Janaki, तुम विदय और न मेरा प्रभु शरण कहूँ किनकी, तुम स्वामी जगतारण शरण शरण तेरा, प्रकृति स्वभाव मिटाओ सहज स्वरूप मेरा, दीन दयाल दयामय शांतन शांतपति, भक्ति मिले अन पायनी आरत प्रेम गति, सद्गुरु बंदी छोर की पर आरती कीजे, चरण कमल चितलाई केशव अर्पण कीजे, पांच तत्व बाती बरी जगमग उजियारा, जगमग ज्योति प्रकाश किया गया अंधियारा, देव परम आराध्य हो मम पूरण स्वामी, ज्ञान सफल जन मानी हो, देहु भक्ति अनामी, परम पुरुष अनूप अविचल परम देव आराध्य, विरह अनुराग रस विवेक गुरुदम साध्य, ज्ञान दीपय खंड ज्योति, मधुर ध्वनिया नाद बजे, धर अधर के पर सिंहासन, सहज स्वर अनुभव गजे, गुरुमूर्ति गति चंद्रमा, सेवक नयन चकोर, पलक पलक निरखत रहे, गुरुमूर्ति की ओर, श्वेत श्वेतमय श्वेत है, श्वेत श्वेतमय श्वेत, तीन पाद अमृत भरा, श्वेत महानंद श्वेत, अष्ट चक्र सब शून्य पर, धरय धरा के पार, तहाँ सदा पद घर किया, भूलि पड़ा संसार। वैष्णोदेव भगवान की जय। Now we will proceed towards the Santi part. हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांतिमय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांतिमय शांति, हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांतिमय, नित्यानादि सगुरुदेव की, स्वयं श्री सगुरुदेव की, विहार श्री सगुरुदेव की, परंपरा श्री सगुरुदेव की, ब्रह्म विद्या विहंगम योग की, अहंकृत श्वेत ध्वजा की, परम तीर्थाम विद्यकुटी आश्रम की, महर्षि सदाफल देवाश्रम भूमि समाधि धाम की, हिमालय शून्य शिखर आश्रम की, दंडकवन आश्रम की, मधुमती आश्रम की, सर्वेद महामंदिर धाम की, बोलिए श्री सगुरुदेव भगवान की जय। So,
अभी हमारे पास कुछ सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ रिकग्निशन हैं जो जिन्होंने भी हमारी कम्युनिटी में सेवा की है, हम उनको देंगे यहाँ पे। तो प्रभु जी से निवेदन है कि उनको आप सर्टिफिकेट दे देते हैं। रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे राजेश रचनानी जी को, प्लीज आए यहाँ पे वो सर्टिफिकेट देंगे। रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे ऋतिक कुमार आडवाणी जी को क्या क्या सर्टिफिकेट दें, इनकी काफ़ी सेवाएं। डॉक्टर चंद्रशेखर जी रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे क्या सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ रिकग्निशन दें। मिसेस सपना मोटवानी जी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आए और सर्टिफिकेट दें। इज नॉट हियर। राबेल कटारिया जी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आए सर्टिफिकेट दें। यंगेस्ट सेवादारी है हमारे मंदिर की। दीपिका आडवाणी जी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आए सर्टिफिकेट दें। हीरानंद दोदानी जी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आगे सर्टिफिकेट दें। सेवादारों के लिए तालियां हो जाए जिन्होंने। अच्छा, आप रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे गुलाब भूटानी जी से कि वो सैन जी को चादर का शॉल देंगे। ठीक है, ये सिंधी मंदिर की तरफ से एप्रिसिएशन है नामदेव जी को यहाँ आने के लिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच नामदेव जी। हम डॉक्टर चंद्रशेखर से रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि वो भी आके शॉल दें। डॉक्टर चंद्रशेखर जी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आके शॉल दें। ये हमारे सिंधी कम्युनिटी की तरफ से शॉल देना है। गुलाब भूटानी जी को 2 मिनट के लिए कुछ कहना है।
सबसे पहले आप सबका स्वागत है और प्रोग्राम खत्म भी हो गया, बट थैंक यू वेरी मच। आपने बहुत ही एंटरटेनिंग एज वेल एज एनलाइटनिंग डिस्कोर्स किया गुरमंदिर की तरफ से। थैंक यू। गुरमंदिर की तरफ से हमारे नए पंडित जी भी आ गए हैं, तो वो आपको एक शॉल प्रेजेंट करेंगे। Please welcome our new Pandit ji, Sharma ji बहुत आज ही आए हैं, so welcome them to the Mandir. Deepak Sharma is our new resident Pandit.
बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dilip Ratnani, for organizing this program at this mandir, and a big round of applause.
Okay.
And big special recognition to the Dilip Ratnani, because without him this program was not possible. So all for due to his all effort we are here, and thanks for all his effort. And big applause for Dilip Ratnani. And I would request Pradeep Kumarji, Mr. Pradeep Kumarji, please come and take the certificate of recognition, because on his volunteer effort, this program was possible. So big applause to Pradeep Kumarji. I would request Dr. Kartalji, Sindhi can lead the Sindhi survey. So we have a lot of Sindhi survey.
दोस्तों की गुजारिश है जो मेरी काफी रिसीव हुए उस सर्वे की संतान की नाम नहीं लिखा कैलाश मोटवानी साहब. Raj Ansari, please. Liquid knows the Achal please receive your copy. Dr. Hedson Saab.
Stick it. Sorry.
Vishnu Kumar Ram. Please come forward and receive your copy of survey. Dr. Sulochana, please. Now, please. Dr. Ashok, please.
टाइम घटे लेट भी थी ना
बोला नहीं बोला नहीं ये भेड़ आशा
Sorry.
ये हमारी दीदी लता जी हैं. रविशंकर नाथानी साहब हैं. अर्जुन सदानी साहब. सुरेश रत्नानी साहब. काफी शांति है। अच्छा किया। स्वामी मिसेस संतोष जी। बट प्रधान साहब ये भी बात बहुत बड़ी सवाल है। अब सब लोग आ जाए 1 सेकंड के लिए ग्रुप फोटो लेते हैं सबके साथ। वो 1 सेकंड के लिए आ जाए ग्रुप फोटो लेते हैं। राजेश साहब, राजेश सच्चाई सबको लेके आ जाए ग्रुप फोटो लेते हैं। आज वो भेड़ा साहब आज सबरी के वहीं होता है, सबरी के वहीं होता है। सबरी के वहीं के ग्रुप फोटो बनाऊंगा। प्रसाद मिलिए तो वो प्रसाद मिलेगा।
Aaron, just close this, right? Yeah. And